2013 Ford Exploder. Exploder.
Hey everybody, today we are changing the front brake pads and rotors on a 2013 Ford Explorer. We want to bring you into the shop with us, show you how we do it, maybe give you some pointers for doing it yourself along the way. The first one is right here. Rubber mallet on the steel wheel only and steel hammer on the rubber. This will help get the wheel off if it's stuck. In the future, use anti-seize between the wheel and the hub to help with this.
So in my infinite wisdom here in days past, I've learned that it's best to take and wire wheel around whatever you're gonna break loose. You take a wire wheel around it and clean all the rusty crud and gunk out of it. What we do here is we try to get at the base of the base of the threads. So if you see right here at the base of the threads, you clean up the base of the threads there, then you can get your penetrating wheel to creep in nice and deep there. Yeah, right there like that. Ooh. Now you got a chance of getting her loose. So boys and girls, one of the most important things that you want to do with your brake job, when you get brand new rotors, the first thing you want to do is wash them in nice soapy water. Because when they wrap them in the plastic, there's this product called Cosmoline that they wrap it in, and it's to preserve the rotors from getting rusty while they sit in storage. Now, if you don't wash that off and you put brand new brake pads on and you go hit the brakes, it's going to push that Cosmoline right into your pads and they're going to glaze, and you're going to lose efficiency and life of your pads. So make sure you wash your rotors first. These are the caliper slide pin bolts here that we just took out. So we're going to pop this caliper off. Most important thing that you never do is you never let this guy hang on the hose. Get yourself some kind of a hanger, bungee cord, whatever. I kept this. This is off of a strut. This is what holds the strut down when they ship it. Makes a great brake hanger. Oh, genius. You always hang your caliper up out of the way there. You get these pads off. One of the things you always want to do is check the pads against each other and see just exactly how they're wearing. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a little bit more wear on the back side than the front. That's always a good indication of whether or not these pins here are greased. And right now, they're stiff. They're locked up. This guy here, he's got a little bit of movement, but this bottom one's froze. Would be why this back pad's wearing a little bit faster, because it can't slide and use. It pulls the front pad as well as when it pushes the back pad so that they come together evenly. Oh yeah, she's froze in there. So you get one of these pins that are froze and you just get on the end of it with the pair of pliers and try rotating it. Counter start moving a little bit. So this is what they should come out like.
Yummy.
As you can see, this one's dry. The grease has gone out of it. It's locked up. It was frozen. I had to get the air chisel out and air chisel it out of there. So we're going to take her over and clean up this rust on it. Clean the rust out of it, get her nice and smooth again, lube her up good, stick her back in. Should be good to go again. So we're going to take the dry hole that had the pin stuck in it, and we'll get some lube in there. Maybe. Awesome can.
Awesome can?
Awesome can.
Oh, look at that, nice and blurry.
Get it over there. Clean that old dried crap out of there. The brake clean.
The brake clean.
The brake clean. The cleaner of the brakes. Cleaner of the brakes. So you want to take some brake clean and a board brush, clean these holes out here, get all the dried grease that was in it out of it. Big old groove. Alright, so now we got the holes all cleaned out. We have our pins cleaned up. If you guys want to get some kind of synthetic grease, brake and caliper, this stuff here is formulated for high temperature, so this isn't your regular standard grease. So what you want to do is you want to just take and coat your pin. Get yourself a good gob on there. Take it, stick it just inside of the boot. I want to push this down in that hole. But what I want to do is I want to push it around into the ribs of the boot so that it stays in there. So as the pin continues to slide in and out and the grease gets used up that's on the pin, as it slides in and out, it'll keep grabbing more grease out of these boots and keep that pin loose. That way she keeps working until the next brake job. We're going to go ahead and drop these guys right in there. She's going to return all by itself because it's got grease and everything else in this boot. That's how it should move, just nice and smooth. You know what you need? Torch, bigger hammer. Take a little anti-seize and coat the inside of the hub here. The way stuff comes apart better next time. Aw, you can only use a cheap one so many times to impact stuff before it does that. Clean the rusty, corroded hub here, we will.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. I'm not sure who Shirley is. Maybe she's friends with Sharon. Quick side note, don't ever blow any brake dust around. It's bad stuff.
That stuff. That's
that is the anti-seize. That is the stop metals from binding together. So when we put the calipers on here, we want to make sure that there's no oil on there. Don't touch it with greasy, oily hands. Find a nice clean surface to wipe your hands on before you touch the rotors, and try not to touch them at all. Get grease on the rotors and then your new pads go on there and touch the grease. It impregnates itself into the pad and causes glazing. No good.
So over the past 10 minutes we've been waiting for this stuff to get a little tacky.
There's the possibility of having vibration from the pads not being in contact with the caliper and sliding on the rotor. This keeps the pads in constant contact with the back of the piston, of the caliper, and the outside of the caliper, so that it can't float and vibrate.
That's the cool stuff we're using.
Our brake pad guides here. You gotta put them on the right way too. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Is that the spot? The spot. Look at that. Bam.
Where your pads are going to sit in here, you want to lube them. Be very careful not to get this on the rotor as we just talked about. The very first thing we did was we went and we wire wheeled around the bleeders, and we shot it with blaster so that we can open these bleeders now, because we got to open the pistons all the way to get onto these new pads. And the last thing we want to do is take all the junk that's sitting in the bottom of the caliper and shove it back up the lines and back in around the pistons and all that. So we're going to open the bleeder before we push the pistons in all the way. Now you notice this guy had a nice cap on him. Do not lose these and do not throw them away. It's very important that they go back on, because you'll get rust and crap and all that down inside your bleeder, and then next time you go to open your bleeder up, it won't get open. You won't be able to get any fluid out of it because it's got crap in it. Seen it happen.
Just yesterday that happened.
As a matter of fact, it happened yesterday. I had to go pull the caliper or the bleeder all the way out and ram a small wire through it. Here. So we're gonna open the bleeder up like so. We're gonna connect our catch can / one-man bleeder. One-man bleeder. One-man bleeder. Pistol style grip brake spreader here. And since it is a dual piston caliper, I'm gonna take one of the old pads. I can set a pad in here to make contact across both the calipers. So as you can see, it's pushing all this nastiness back out of it down the hose right here. And that actually does not look that bad. I've seen the fluid where it's just nasty rotten. So now we have it all the way down. I'm gonna go ahead and close our bleeder. Snug that guy back up, put the dust cap back on her. Now she's ready to go on. So we're gonna wanna make contact with the pins first. Push those in, our whole caliper, just like so. Now we have our pin bolts. So now these guys don't need to be hammered in very tight. I think the torque spec's somewhere probably around 30-40 foot-pounds of torque. And I have an adjustable air pressure on my gun here, so I'm going to back it down to the low setting, which is right around 40-50 pounds. And torque them on like that. We know they're good and tight and they're not over torqued. These little springs here that come with this brake kit, these little springs here, they push right on. So now that spring is pushing out on these brake pads, so after the pistons push them together, squeeze the rotor, this will help spread them back off. And there's our top set. Now this side's done, ready to put the wheel back on, and she's good to go.
Sometimes this will keep you from having to pound your wheel off. Anti-seize. Don, I've been told you don't want anti-seize on the lug nuts. Is that true?
So I have mixed feelings about that. One of them is, so one of the theories is you want it on there because it applies lubrication to mainly to the face of the lug nut where it contacts the wheel at, so that it has lubrication so that it has a smooth, even torque as you're torquing, so that it doesn't hit a dry spot and stick and give you a false torque reading. However, though, I've also heard on the other side of the coin that you do not want to use anti-seize because it creates a lubricated surface, which also gives you a greater torque than what is actually needed. However, though, I don't know. I had an instructor in school that swore by it. I run without it. I believe a little white lithium spray grease.
Increase the chance of it loosening up?
No, I don't believe that it increases the chances of it loosening up. Okay. Just the fact of having aluminum wheels will give you that chance. That's why I'm a fan of steel wheels when it comes to that sort of thing, because you don't have to really worry about retorquing. All we have left now is to pull our bungee cord out. Make sure you remember that.
Before lugs or what?
Hubs before lugs. It's hubs before lugs.
Well, we lost our cameraman towards the end of the video there. That's okay. John went on to torque the wheels, check the fluids. Forgot to pump the brakes though. So we went off the rack. Luckily we had enough room. We didn't run into anything. But if you do it at home, make sure you pump the brakes or you will go through your garage door. Thank you, Tristan, for recording for us. This is Tristan.
So guys,
hopefully we can get you doing some more. If you like what you're seeing, we're going to put up more. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'll bring more to you. We're going to get more in depth with bodywork, some detailing stuff. We got some other surprises coming. Thank you guys for giving us your time, and hopefully you learned something along the way. Have a good one.
right, make sure you got your safety glasses on, boys and girls. Bracket up. Josh is freaking out over there, don't worry. You remember when we were kids? Do you remember what it was like to call somebody at work when we were kids? The house had better been on fire or somebody had better been dying.